What's up, guys? Come from Action Backers. Hopefully you're doing well. So today I just want to make a quick video with some practical advice showing you how to actually get data into a spreadsheet if you're looking to build a model or something like that. So there's a couple ways you can do it, and I'll walk you through some simple ways that you can start automating some processes. So the easiest way is using Google Sheets. So let's say we're building a baseball model and we want starting pitcher data, right? So I'm here on Fangraphs. I'm going to leaderboards, player stats, pitching, starting pitchers. And the first thing I would want to do, so you can see here are the stats here. And this is assuming I already know that I want these stats because I've run a model or they're part of my model or whatever the case is. Maybe you're doing daily fantasy and you want to import some player stats as well. So the first thing I'm going to do for this table is I'm going to change this to 50, and that's going to allow me to actually change the URL up here, and I'm going to make it so you can see there's 161 items. Well, we don't want multiple pages, we just want one long page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to 500, and we don't even have to hit enter. I'm just going to copy this URL, and then what you can do in Google Sheets is you can just use the import HTML function. So if you just say import HTML, you just enter the URL in quotes, and then you say comma table, comma 0. And when you do that, it will load up that data into a table that you can now use. Now you can adjust off of the table. So like you can, in different columns, you can run like formulas and stuff like that using this data, but you can't like delete a value or resize or filter or anything like that. It will basically just reset the table. So like for instance, if I wanted to sort this range by like alphabetical order or something, it wouldn't let me, but that's okay. You can just use like different lookups to get the data you need. So that's a really simple way to get the table into Google Sheets. And the nice thing about this is it's really easy to make adjustments. So you can see you can just change some info. So like for instance, this says qualified innings as 5. Well, maybe we want it to be 10 innings minimum that we're getting pitcher data. So I just changed that qual equals 5 to qual equals 10. And now when I hit enter, it's going to update the list with only pitchers who have pitched at least 10 innings so far in the given time frame. And again, you can see it's got like the season and then the month and stuff like that. So you can really get granular and change it up easily, which is nice. Now, if you're an Excel user for PC, you can just run like a Power Query, and it's very similar. You just enter in your URL and you can choose which data points you want to bring in. It's simple. I'm not going to go over. I'm also on a Mac, so I don't have a way to go over right now. However, if you're using Excel on a Mac, it's a little bit different and it's kind of a pain, but I'm going to show you how to do that now. And this will also work similarly. The end goal will also work if you're on a PC. So I've actually had some guys who are running Windows machines, and for whatever reason, the specific URL they were trying to bring in, it was dropping some of the columns, and when they used this method instead, it actually brought it in, no problem. So it's a kind of an old and janky method, but we're gonna go with it anyway. So for this, I'm just gonna bring up Excel, and you're also going to need Microsoft Word. So this will not work if you don't have Microsoft Word as well. And all you're gonna do is you're just gonna paste in your URL, and then you're gonna hit enter 3 or 4 times, and then you're gonna click save. And when you click save, it's gonna bring up a couple options. So first of all, you want to save it into this queries folder. Now this queries folder will be native and comes alongside the Excel application. So make sure you find this queries folder. That's very important. And then we can just call this, I'll just call it Fangraphs testing. We're saving the queries, and then you're going to want to change this file format to plain text. That's very important as well, and click save. Now, if you're on a Mac, this is going to pop up. You want to change this to MS-DOS. Don't ask me why. It's just for it to work, you have to do it that way, and then click OK. So now we've saved this file. So the next thing we want to do, if we just bring up that queries folder again, And this is another very important and critical step. So now we're going to go to, you can see our file is here, and we're just going to click Get Info, and we want to change the file name. So right now it's Fangraphs testing.txt. We're going to change this to .iqy. That's very important. So if you're on Windows following along, you won't have to do like the MS-DOS stuff, but you will need to change this file to a .iqy for it to work. And then we're just going to hit enter and then use IQY. And from there, we can get out of this, and we don't need that for now. And we can close this. So now in Excel, and let me just make this bigger. What we're going to want to do is along the top, not this data here, but along the very top, we're going to click on Data and go down to Get External Data and click Run Web Query. And from here, that's going to open up that queries folder that we saw earlier. And so you can see now we have our Fangraphs testing, and we're going to click Get Data. We can put it in the existing sheet, is fine. And now you can see it's loaded it up. Now, it's a bit ugly because it's essentially pulling in a whole bunch of different stuff ahead of time, like different seasons and stuff like that. So if you scroll down though, all the information is there. And again, this is something that you can use. You don't need to do any coding or anything like that, which is nice. So there, our data is in here, and now we can utilize it every day. We can create formulas in adjacent cells and things like that. And then every day, all we would do is we would come to this data tab. So now we're in the data tab in the Excel ribbon, and then we would just click refresh all. And you can just click refresh all from here, and that will refresh the data every day. So if new pictures meet the criteria, they would be brought in to this tab now. And that's an easy way to get your data in to Excel and into Google Sheets. Now, sometimes, and I'm not gonna save this, sometimes you're gonna hit an issue where data just can't be brought in. So for instance, I have this basketball reference table here, and I'm going to copy it in. So you can see it didn't work. And what I had wanted it to bring in are all these team per game stats. And the reason it didn't work is this table, if we inspect it, is being dynamically generated using JavaScript. So in this case, you know, it's only bringing in this top conference standings table, and we can play around if we change the table number. Like if we change it to 1 or something like that, it would maybe bring in something, but in this case it's not going to, and that's because it's being dynamically generated. So if that's the case, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to just import it using the URL. You would have to use something like this. So this is a web scraper I built. I'm using that same basketball reference URL. And what this does, if I run it, you can see it will actually pull up that website and scrape the data of that table. And then the nice thing too is it actually wrote that data to a CSV. So now I have that. If I open this up, we can see that it's brought in that data from the table. So that third option, that's a little bit out of the scope of this video because I wrote this in Python. If you want to copy this, have at it. It's only going to work on this specific URL for these tables, but it's a good starting point. So I might get more in depth into this down the road perhaps, but I know Python's a little bit less accessible than Excel or something like that, and not everyone is wanting to write something from scratch. So I hope this video was helpful. So there's a couple ways that you can bring in automation to get your stats data in on a daily basis. So if this was useful to you and you want to learn more, don't forget to sign up at actionbackers.com, use code WELCOME20, and you'll get $20 off your first month. I'm going to teach you how to be a better sports bettor. Inside, I have lots of video lessons on how to build a model, and I'm always adding new content and helping you out. I actually just built this for my members today. So I'll see you inside actionbackers.com. Welcome 20.